A heartbreaking tragedy has left a family shattered in San Diego, California. 17-year-old Jariah Edwards, who was 8 months pregnant, was shot and killed outside a vacation rental home early Saturday morning. Police say officers responded just after 1 a.m. after multiple 911 calls reported gunfire. When they arrived, they found Jariah suffering from a gunshot wound to the head. Paramedics rushed her to the hospital, where doctors performed an emergency C-section in a desperate attempt to save her unborn child. Tragically,
like the most heartbreaking thing to ever hear. Yeah, it's just sad. Like, she didn't deserve this. And,
just recently started kind of growing into herself and becoming, who she was supposed to be.
She was 17 years old, 8 months pregnant, on vacation with her family in San Diego, California. She had her whole life ahead of her, and the one thing she wanted more than anything in the world was to hold her baby girl. She never got that chance. In the early hours of May 30th, 2026, just after 1 in the morning, Jariah Edwards stepped outside a vacation rental on Garden Avenue in the Bay Park neighborhood of San Diego. She stepped outside because someone had sent flowers to the front door. A romantic gesture, a thoughtful surprise. Except it was not a surprise at all. It was a trap. And the man who said it, the man hiding in the darkness waiting for her, was the same man who had fathered the child growing inside her. He shot her in the head. By the time paramedics arrived, Jariah was clinging to life. Doctors performed an emergency C-section to save her baby girl. The child survived but was left in critical condition with minimal brain activity. Jariah did not survive. A 17-year-old girl weeks from becoming a mother was gone, and the man responsible was already running. This is the story of Jariah Edwards, and this is the story of the mind that killed her. If you are new here, welcome to Redrage Crime TV. Find us on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. We tell the stories that matter. If this is the kind of content you want more of, hit that subscribe button right now and join our community. Now let's get into it. Jariah grew up in Phoenix, Arizona. Everyone who knew her described the same girl: warm, sarcastic, full of life. Her friends called her one of the sweetest people they had ever met. She had a natural nurturing energy, they said, and when she found out she was pregnant, that energy found a new direction. She was obsessed with her baby girl. She talked about her constantly. She could not wait to meet her, to see what she looked like, to finally hold her in her arms. Her friends say that relationship with her unborn daughter gave her something to hold on to, especially because the relationship with her baby's father had become something dark and suffocating. His name was Trevon Williams. He was 21 years old, also from Phoenix. He and Jariah had started dating in September of 2025. From early on, the people around Jariah noticed something was wrong. She had to stay on the phone with him at all times. When she came around her friends, she was not the same person, quieter, guarded, like a version of herself with the volume turned down. One friend summed it up simply: he drained the happiness from her.
Friends of 17-year-old Jariah Edwards are still in denial.
honestly, like, when I first found out, that was just, like, the most heartbreaking thing to ever hear. Yeah, it's just sad. Like, she didn't deserve this, and nobody should experience this at such a young age.
The Corley sisters have known Jariah for several years, but it feels like a lifetime.
It was funny. Like, we always laughed about. Yeah, her personality was very sarcastic.
Jariah was killed this weekend, police saying the Valley teen was visiting San Diego with her family. According to San Diego police, her 21-year-old boyfriend drove from Phoenix to San Diego, where he met her and allegedly shot her.
He was literally a monster, and he ran into somebody with a pure soul. Like, there's nothing she could have did that made him act like this.
Jariah was pregnant, police saying she was about 32 weeks. That baby is still in the hospital.
Because that's the last part we have of her. Yeah, while he still gets to be alive in jail.
Domestic violence and teen dating violence experts say there is help out there. If you or you suspect a loved one is going through abuse, reach out to the National Domestic Violence or Teen Dating Abuse hotlines.
It's like the most heartbreaking part about it. It's entirely preventable. Every single instance of domestic violence is preventable.
Friends say Jariah was trying to leave her boyfriend, and now they're remembering the girl who always wanted to be a mom.
This is like the last person on earth that you would expect this to happen to.
But it went deeper than that. Court records would later reveal that Williams had a prior history of violence. In a September 2024 incident, a 17-year-old girl went to a hospital with stab wounds, cuts, and bruises. She identified Williams as her boyfriend. According to the affidavit, he had threatened her, told her directly that if he had to kick down the door, she would not make it home. He stabbed a bedroom door with a kitchen knife. He beat her with a dog collar. And all of it happened while an order of protection was already in place against him. Think about that for a moment. A court had already told this man to stay away from a previous girlfriend, and he kicked down her door anyway. The system had already seen him, and Jariah just months later was in a relationship with him. By early 2026, Jariah had had enough. She blocked Williams' phone number. Her family had begun the process of filing a restraining order against him. She was trying to get out. Her friends knew it. Her family knew it. And this is critical. Williams knew it too. Researchers who study intimate partner violence will tell you that the moment a victim tries to leave is the most dangerous moment in the entire relationship. Not before. Not long after. That specific window. Because for a man like Williams, Jariah was not just his girlfriend. She was something he believed he owned. And the thought of losing that control was more than he could tolerate. So he made a plan. On the evening of May 29, 2026, Williams arranged a rideshare from Phoenix to San Diego. He left around 6 in the evening. He arrived in San Diego before midnight. He had somehow learned the address of the Airbnb where Jariah and her family were staying, and when the driver pulled up close to the property, Williams told him to stop several houses away. He did not want to be seen. He walked to the rental. He positioned himself outside. He waited. Using a delivery app, he sent flowers to the front door of the house. Jariah came outside with a family member to collect them. Williams watched. He did not move. He waited for her to go back inside. Then, a short time later, he sent a second delivery, a vase, through the same app. This time, Jariah came outside alone. That was the moment he had been waiting for. He came out of the darkness from the side. He shot her in the head, then he ran. Stop and sit with that sequence for a second. He did not show up in a rage and bang on the door. He did not call her and lose his temper. He traveled hundreds of miles. He had the driver drop him off away from the scene. He hid in the dark. He used 2 separate deliveries, the first to test when she would come out. The second did her outside alone. That is not someone who lost control. That is someone who made a series of very deliberate decisions. And if there is any doubt about his state of mind, consider what happened after. Prosecutors say that while fleeing, Williams called someone on the phone. He was recorded saying, "I shot her in the face. I shot her dead." Not panic. Not disbelief. Information. He was reporting what he had done. He changed his clothes, hid in a nearby canyon called Tecolote, and was arrested approximately 2 hours after the shooting. When officers found him, he still had the gun.
I'm not gonna be on a gang for years. I just killed my baby mama, bro. The police looking for me right now.
Jariah's baby girl was delivered alive. She was fighting, but she had suffered a loss of oxygen, and doctors reported minimal brain activity. Prosecutors noted that if the baby did not survive, Williams would face an additional murder charge. In court, Williams pleaded not guilty to first-degree murder, attempted murder of a fetus, and possession of a machine gun with an extended magazine. The judge ordered that his face not be shown. Prosecutors declared it a capital case, meaning Williams could face the death penalty. Jariah's family sat in that courtroom in tears. Her friends back in Phoenix were still processing what had happened to the girl they described as the last person on earth you would expect this to happen to. One of them said something that captures the whole tragedy in a single sentence: she wanted to leave so bad, and that's the only reason why he did what he did. Now here is where this story gets harder to sit with because nothing about this was hidden. The warning signs were there. The prior violence was documented. The pattern of control was visible to everyone around Jariah. Her family was already pursuing a restraining order. They were doing what they were supposed to do, and it still was not enough.
Man accused of killing his pregnant ex-girlfriend over the weekend faced a judge for the first time today.
Prosecutors say the killing was planned and carried out after he traveled from Arizona here to San Diego. News 8's Alex Cheney was in court today and joins us live now with the latest. Alex?
Yeah, Marcella, this is just so tragic. The family of the victim was in the courtroom today in tears as they watched the suspect, 21-year-old Trevon Williams, plead not guilty to first-degree murder and also attempting to kill his own unborn child.
This is a capital case.
In the Central Courthouse downtown, 21-year-old Trevon Williams pleaded not guilty to first-degree murder, the attempted murder of a fetus, and possession of a machine gun with an extended magazine. The judge ordered us not to show you his face. Prosecutors say Williams and 17-year-old Jariah Edwards started dating in September of 2025, and family was concerned.
Had an on and off relationship filled with domestic violence and threats of violence on the victim and her unborn baby by the defendant.
Prosecutors say that on May 29th, Edwards and her family were staying at an Airbnb in San Diego. By then, she had blocked Williams' phone number, and family was in the process of getting a restraining order. Court documents show Williams took a lift from Arizona to San Diego, leaving around 6 p.m. and arriving just before 11:30 that night. Prosecutors say he learned where Edwards was staying, had the driver drop him off several houses away, and lied in wait. They say he used DoorDash to send flowers to the home. Edwards went outside with a family member to pick them up, but Williams remained hidden. A short time later, prosecutors say he sent a second DoorDash delivery, this time a vase, to lure Edwards outside alone. That's when investigators say Williams shot her in the head early Saturday morning. After the shooting, prosecutors say he ran into Tecolote Canyon, changed clothes, and tried to hide. Prosecutors say they also have GPS data placing him at the scene, along with a recorded statement. The DA says Williams told a friend on the phone, "I shot her in the face. I shot her dead."
Evidence that are given in the police reports, given through GPS monitoring, as well as defendants' very own statements and witnesses.
Edwards was 32 weeks pregnant. Her baby was delivered by emergency C-section and remains in critical condition. Prosecutors say the child suffered a loss of oxygen and currently has minimal brain activity. If the baby dies, Williams could face an additional murder charge.
2 times.
Williams is currently being held with no bail. He is due back in court on Friday for a bail review hearing. His maximum penalty is life in prison without the possibility of parole or the death penalty.
So ask yourself this: if a restraining order was in process and her phone number was blocked and her family was with her, how did Trevon Williams find out exactly where she was staying? Who told him? Or did he track her some other way? That question has not been fully answered publicly. Ask yourself this too. Williams had already been connected to violent behavior against a previous girlfriend while a protective order was in effect. Why was he not flagged when Jariah's family began the process of filing against him? Could that prior case have triggered a faster, more aggressive intervention? And finally, the one that should keep all of us uncomfortable: Jariah's friends described the relationship as controlling and draining from the beginning. They saw it. They felt it. But what do you do with that information when you are 17 and your best friend is 8 months pregnant by the man you are worried about? What do you say? Who do you call? Those are not rhetorical questions. They are the questions that could save the next Jariah if we are honest enough to ask them. What this case teaches us is this: the violence that took Jariah's life did not begin on May 30th. It had been building for months in plain sight in patterns that behavioral science has described in detail. Control, isolation, the dangerous moment of departure, the organized, deliberate response to a victim trying to get free. None of this was random. None of it was a surprise to the people who were paying attention. The baby girl that Jariah never got to hold is still in this world, fighting, carrying her mother's legacy. And Jariah's friends say it best: her daughter is going to be everything Jariah wanted her to be, and she should be proud of that. That's the story of Jariah Edwards. And here at Redrage Crime TV on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, this is exactly why we do what we do. Not for shock value, not for ratings, but because these stories deserve to be told, and the people we lose deserve to be remembered. If you're already part of this community, thank you. Your comments, your likes, your subscriptions mean everything to us. You are the reason we keep going. If you're watching for the first time and you have not subscribed yet, please do it right now. Hit that button, turn on notifications, and never miss a story. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think should have been done differently? What should we be asking about this case? We read every single comment. Rest in peace, Jariah, and to her baby girl, the world is rooting for you.
This is 12 News at 10. I'm Troy Hayden. Tonight we're learning more about a 17-year-old mother-to-be from here in the Valley who was shot and killed while on vacation in San Diego over the weekend. 12 News journalist Gabriela Becerra spoke with the teen's family in studio now with an update on this newborn baby that actually survived this shooting. Gabby?
Well, Troy family tells me the newborn baby girl is still fighting for her life in a California hospital tonight after being delivered in an emergency C-section. The baby's mother was 8 months pregnant when her family tells me she was shot and killed.
She is genuinely like one of the sweetest people.
17-year-old Jariah Edwards brought a smile to everyone who knew her.
She's just recently started kind of growing into herself and becoming, who she was supposed to be.
Over the phone, Jariah's aunt told me her bright and loving niece was ambitious and talented. She was preparing for a moment she dreamed of, becoming a mom.
She was so excited.
With her baby girl due in just a few weeks, the entire family took a trip to California.
We just came to get away, to just enjoy each other.
But it was on vacation that their lives changed forever. Jariah's ex-boyfriend, identified by police as 21-year-old Trevon Williams, unexpectedly showed up at their rental home in San Diego. Williams allegedly shot Jariah in the head and ran away. Williams was later arrested after police say they found him hiding in a nearby neighborhood with a semi-automatic gun.
Things like this are preventable. They can be stopped before they happen.
This is the third shooting involving a pregnant teenager from Arizona in the past 3 weeks. According to a 2025 national study by the Society for Maternal Fetal Medicine, homicide and suicide are the #1 cause of maternal deaths in the United States. Tanner Swanson with The New Leaf says stress can contribute to an already dangerous relationship.
There's a lot of factors, I think, at play that make it a higher risk situation.
Jariah didn't get the chance to name or hold her daughter, but her family tells me they're standing by the baby's side and will always remember the beautiful life that brought her here.
Her legacy is that her daughter is going to be everything that she wanted to be and so much more. And she should be proud of that.
San Diego PD got the call early this morning that a pregnant Arizona teen was shot in the head while vacationing with her family, and they believe her adult boyfriend drove across state lines to pull the trigger. The 17-year-old was rushed to the hospital. Doctors saved the life of her baby through an emergency C-section, but she was not so lucky, unfortunately. 21-year-old Trevon Williams has been booked on charges including murder and attempted murder, according to the San Diego Sheriff's Department. Police say he ran away after the shooting but was taken into custody in a nearby neighborhood. Well, Williams was also charged with possessing a machine gun. He's due in court next week.